Sailor Moon Super Smoothie. 1995 Review The Black Dream Hole and the Eternal Childhood Illusion. More so than a candy, your smile can make the world a sweeter place. And just like that, begins one of the most dreamlike, emotional, colorful, and psychologically fascinating entries in the entire classic Sailor Moon movie universe. Right from the beginning, the movie establishes a mystical fairy tale atmosphere mixed with surreal nightmare energy. At night, somewhere in Europe, a mysterious flute melody echoes through the darkness. Children begin waking up from their beds, one after another, almost hypnotized, as if the music itself is calling their souls. Windows open. Feet slowly walk across cold floors. Entire neighborhoods of children leave their homes silently beneath the moonlight. The atmosphere here feels incredibly eerie, despite the colorful animation. And then we finally see him, Poupelin, a mysterious flute maestro leading children toward giant flying ships hidden in the night sky. The children board willingly. No screaming, no resistance, just smiling innocence, which somehow makes the entire situation even more disturbing. But another figure secretly witnesses everything. Perle, another flute wielder, another mysterious childlike being. And immediately, the movie plants its central conflict. Dreams versus reality. Innocence versus growth. Eternal childhood versus moving forward. Then suddenly, the legendary Sailor Moon Super S intro erupts onto the screen. Instant nostalgia overload. Cookies, childhood, and nostalgia. Back inside everyday life, the Sailor Scouts are gathered at Makoto Kino's house baking cookies together. And honestly, these peaceful slice-of-life moments are one of the greatest strengths of classic Sailor Moon. Usagi immediately burns herself trying to cook. Artemis jokes she belongs on cleanup duty instead of kitchen duty. Classic Usagi chaos. But beneath the humor, the movie quietly introduces its emotional core. Ami Mizuno explains how her mother used to bake cookies, despite always being busy with work. Makoto remembers her own mother baking every Monday, because Mondays were always the hardest days. And suddenly, the movie becomes deeply nostalgic. Everyone begins reminiscing about childhood memories. Ami even quietly admits, "Sometimes I wish I could become a child again." That line becomes extremely important later, because the movie's villain isn't merely stealing children. She's exploiting humanity's desire to escape adulthood itself. Chibiusa meets Perle. Meanwhile, Chibiusa wanders through the city and encounters Perle. This entire section feels magical. Perle possesses invisible wings, only Chibiusa seems spiritually capable of sensing. The two become friends almost instantly. And unlike many Sailor Moon movie side characters, Perle feels genuinely mysterious. He's cheerful, yet melancholic. Childlike, yet burdened. When he plays his flute, candies magically appear around them. The visual atmosphere becomes soft, whimsical, almost storybook-like. And Chibiusa absolutely loves it. The global child disappearances. Meanwhile, the movie's darker storyline begins escalating rapidly. A news broadcaster announces that children are mysteriously disappearing worldwide. 43 cities, 27 countries. No explanations. No recoveries. This instantly raises the stakes far beyond previous Sailor Moon films. This isn't merely Tokyo being threatened, it's the entire planet. And the imagery becomes increasingly unsettling because the children leave willingly under the flute's hypnotic melody. Almost like sleepwalking souls being harvested. Poupelin's first assault. That same night, Poupelin returns. His hypnotic flute melody once again echoes across the city. This time, Chibiusa herself becomes targeted. She rises from sleep and walks outside unconsciously, alongside countless other children. Thankfully, Diana alerts Usagi immediately. The Sailor Scouts rush to investigate and discover the floating ship itself. The atmosphere here is genuinely fantastic. Foggy night skies, floating dream ships, children moving like enchanted spirits. Then finally, the first confrontation erupts. Poupelin attacks using magical candy wrappers that morph into elastic supernatural weapons. It's one of the strangest yet most visually creative fights in Sailor Moon history. Soon the Sailor Scouts find themselves trapped inside a musical illusion world. And suddenly, they transform into children themselves. This moment perfectly captures the movie's core psychological idea: the temptation of eternal childhood. No responsibilities, no adulthood, no suffering, just dreams forever. Mamoru saves the day. As Poupelin prepares a finishing attack, Mamoru Chiba arrives dramatically with his legendary rose throw. Classic tuxedo mask entrance. The spell breaks instantly. The Sailor Scouts awaken from the illusion, and Mamoru briefly clashes directly against Poupelin. But even Mamoru struggles against the candy-based dream magic. Then suddenly, another major twist occurs. Perle intervenes on behalf of the Sailor Scouts. Why? Because of his friendship with Chibiusa. That single emotional connection begins changing everything. The Black Dream Hole. Soon, the true antagonist finally emerges fully. Queen Badian. One of the most visually bizarre and psychologically symbolic Sailor Moon villains ever created. Badian doesn't simply want destruction. She wants children trapped forever inside dreams. Inside eternal sleep. Inside the Black Dream Hole. The Black Dream Hole itself acts almost like a cosmic nightmare dimension powered by children's stolen dream energy. This concept is actually surprisingly dark beneath the colorful visuals. Children permanently sleeping while their dreams fuel an eternal illusion world. That's horrifying. Yet the movie presents it through candy aesthetics, circus imagery, and fairy tale visuals, which somehow makes it even creepier. Pearl's betrayal and redemption. Pearl eventually reveals Badian's full plan to the Sailor Scouts. But as they approach the Dream Castle using Pearl's flying ship, two additional henchmen attack. Orangeat Bannon, yes. Classic Sailor Moon naming logic. Their combined musical attacks destroy Pearl's ship in a spectacular aerial battle sequence. Thankfully, the outer sailors arrive. Sailor Uranus, Sailor Neptune, Sailor Pluto, and immediately the momentum changes completely. The action scenes here are genuinely exciting. Combined sailor attacks explode everywhere as magical powers collide across surreal dream landscapes. Eventually, the villains transform into birds after defeat, symbolizing freedom from Badian's corruption. And then, the Dream Castle itself finally appears. One of the most visually beautiful environments in classic Sailor Moon cinema. Queen Badian's true power. Badian finally confronts everyone directly, and immediately demonstrates terrifying power. She effortlessly overwhelms Pearl with a single stare, then reveals the horrifying truth. Chibiusa is meant to become the main energy source for the Black Dream Hole, because of Chibiusa's immense hidden potential. Suddenly, the Black Dream Hole begins expanding violently. Entire dream dimensions start collapsing inward. The movie's visuals become increasingly surreal and abstract here, almost like entering someone's subconscious mind. Sailor Moon inside. The Black Dream Hole. Separated from the others, Sailor Moon enters the Black Dream Hole alone. And this is where the movie becomes psychologically fascinating. Inside the Black Dream Hole, illusions manifest directly from emotional insecurities, Mamoru appears. Everything seems peaceful, safe, perfect. But Usagi notices something wrong. When the illusion Mamoru claims he prefers Chibiusa over her, Usagi instantly realizes the real Mamoru would never say that. That moment matters deeply, because Sailor Moon defeats the illusion not through power, but through emotional understanding, through genuine connection, through knowing the hearts of the people she loves. That's classic Sailor Moon storytelling at its best. Final battle against Badian. The climax becomes absolutely explosive visually. Badian merges entirely with the black dream hole itself, a monstrous dream entity fueled by fear, escapism, and eternal sleep. Massive fire lakes emerge. Dream dimensions collapse. Reality itself begins warping. Yet Sailor Moon and Chibiusa combine their powers together. And honestly, this may be one of the best symbolic moments in the Super S era, because both characters represent emotional growth, especially Chibiusa, no longer merely wanting to imitate Sailor Moon, but finally fighting beside her as an equal source of light. Together they pierce directly through the black dream hole's darkness, using moon crystal power. The imagery feels almost spiritual. Light breaking through depression, hope piercing despair, growth overcoming escapism, and finally, Badiane collapses. The black dream hole implodes spectacularly. The beautiful ending. As the dream castle begins collapsing, Perle regains his true wings. Instead of remaining corrupted by eternal childish illusions, he remembers his original purpose: to protect children's dreams. Not imprison them. Protect them. A rainbow appears above the collapsing dream world. The abducted children awaken safely, and Chibiusa shares one final emotional farewell with Perle. It's bittersweet, because unlike many Sailor Moon movie friendships, this one genuinely changed both characters permanently. Final thoughts. Sailor Moon Super S movie, 1995, is secretly one of the deepest psychological Sailor Moon films ever created. Beneath the candy aesthetics and magical dream visuals lies a surprisingly mature message. Growing up may be painful, but remaining trapped in fantasy forever is even worse. The movie explores childhood nostalgia, fear of adulthood, the temptation of eternal dreams, emotional maturity, the importance of moving forward. Visually, the movie feels like a surreal fairy tale mixed with cosmic dream horror. And emotionally, Chibiusa and Perle absolutely carry the film beautifully. By the end, as the Sailor Scouts gaze toward Chibiusa and Perle beneath rainbow skies, the movie quietly reminds us, dreams are beautiful, but life must continue beyond them.